Hey guys, it's Liam from BionicViking.com, and today I'm with my buddy Jordan to bring you an introduction to Dark Souls 2, the infamous epic from Software. This game came out on March 13th, and me and Jordan have been playing, or Jordan and I, have been playing about roughly 3 to 4 hours today, and, well, how would you sum it up, man?
It's the kind of game that makes you want to throw your controller against the wall and scream, but then rush to go pick it back up.
It's a pretty fun game, but it's also terrible because you die so hardcore. I mean, the first enemy of the game, you get into the game, you get into it, you choose what type of player you play as, and then you run up to a giant white thing with a huge gut, and it fucking pummels you until you get AIDS.
It one hits you by eating your fucking face.
And then you die and you lose souls, and then you turn into a zombie in the first, like, 5 minutes of the game. But as far as, you know, apart from all of the dying, there is some salvation to be had in Dark Souls 2. Obviously it's an RPG, and kind of a dungeon crawler in its aspects.
To me, it feels like a strategic hack and slash.
Almost. Like, yeah, you can't really go all the way in, you know, so much to be a, what's a good example of a hack and slash? Like a Bayonetta.
Yeah.
You know, to that point, I mean, that's more of a character action, but it's got those elements where you just
you can't juggle enemies.
No, fuck no.
You need to take them on one at a time.
Definitely not. And it's definitely different in the way that you actually have to be very conscious if you're using a light or a heavy attack, because if you are using a heavy attack and the dude is in his swinging motion, you go back to pull that thing, and it's going to take you 1 extra second, you're going to get your balls chopped the fuck off.
Yeah. A single enemy, like one-on-one's pretty easy.
Oh, it's an easy. Yeah, it's
if you fuck up, you are dead.
Yeah, and as soon as two enemies,
it's not forgiving.
That slope from where you verse the first enemy, you know, and it's just one dude with a dagger. You hit him a couple times, he's down. Adds 2 people, maybe a guy with a shield. You are frantic as fuck.
Yeah, and then the halberds start coming out, and then you just want to hang yourself.
Yeah, it's a terrible game. I mean, maybe not to that extent. Maybe I want to hang myself while I'm playing the game. You know, maybe just like slowly asphyxiate to better the experience in some sort of way.
You kind of get dragged into the game in the immersion while strangling yourself.
Almost. It's almost a gentle
It's quite
asphyxiation.
sickening, but it's very true.
Michael Hutchins. The apparent things in this game, the things that become very notable and very immediately recognized as soon as you jump into the game, is that all of the shit that me and Jordan have heard about the Dark Souls series, because we're both new to the series. I mean, neither of us have played Demon Souls or Dark Souls.
I've watched playthroughs, but
not to the point of actually holding the controller.
Yeah, you watch it and you're like, oh, it couldn't be too bad. Then you play it and
you die 7 times.
You're sad, and you don't know if you want to, live your life anymore.
Or quit. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I can just go and get my ass kicked like 100 more times.
Like,
that's it.
We were playing Death for Death.
We were, and
I found myself throwing my control at Liam, but then wanting to go and take it from him.
It was almost to the point where we would play, 5 minutes at a time and just be like, dude, I can't get past this one dude. Like, it's just impossible.
Yeah, you might see some of this in the background.
Yeah, you'll see some of this in the video right now. As you can see on the screen right now, this giant bastard who's just kind of lying against a tree. I thought he was a statue initially, and then I smacked him, and he got up, and yeah, he didn't end up being a tree. But luckily, I was able to hit him. But it's almost like the enemies in this game kind of catch you off guard. You don't really expect them to be as difficult as they are. Oh, there are fuck tons of traps, booby traps, and ambushes, all of that stuff. Obviously, this game is a game which is very difficult and extremely satisfying once you defeat a certain point. Kind of to the point where, what's an old game that's, almost to the point of, did you ever play like the Metroid series?
Yeah.
Or even a really difficult Sonic level. I mean, I'm playing through the new Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze recently, and there are certain parts in the first couple of levels where you rack your brain because it's so simple, and you slip up the tiniest bit, and it can cost you another life, or in this case, some souls, and your life, because you turn into an undead fucking zombie. So
see, with this game, you have to learn the patterns of all the enemies of an area, and then as soon as you enter another area, you get different enemies, and then you have to learn the patterns all over again, and it's a vicious cycle. And then the boss comes and basically just kicks you on your ass.
It's straight away, right there, right then and there. It's an RPG which requires an investment of patience and a lot of time. I mean, we only played 3 hours of it, and that's already become apparent that it's going to take a long time to actually feel like you're doing something.
But that feels good to do that because, you know, games lately, they're just kind of like, here's your objective. Go do it.
They kind of hold your hand through it as well.
Yeah,
you know?
and you can make so many mistakes. But in this game, basically you're told what to do in the first half an hour of the game, and then there are no instructions.
It's also pretty apparent that this game makes you feel like a bitch. I mean, earlier, before we record this commentary, Jordan was saying that this game makes you feel weak, and it hurts your pride.
Yeah, like, I think I'm a good gamer. I've had my moments where I'm
Your
unstoppable.
Your triumphs.
But this game makes you feel like your first day with your first
with
console.
any video game, anything.
You don't know what you're doing, you're dying over and again, but you're still enjoying it for some sadistic reason.
It's like you wake up in the middle of the night and you just have a horse's dick in your hand. You don't know why you're there, you don't know why you're in the paddock. You've never experienced that, Jordan? Back to the game. It's initially quite difficult, but I guess I won't know until we get maybe 6 to 7 hours into the game. Because we haven't actually run into any major bosses yet.
We've had our tough enemies. Like this motherfucker looks like an armadillo, but
oh yeah, that's scary. That's
he fell on
scary.
us.
He did. He fucking fell on us. But yeah, like obviously, this is a game that is very difficult, and I wouldn't advise you to get your 7-year-old kid this for Christmas. But I mean, if you are a gamer who can really put 60 to 70 hours into one game, Dark Souls 2 isn't a bad option on that front. Just because there are so many different ways you can go with it, there are so many different ways you can conquer the world, learn about the world, learn about the patterns of your enemies, and the AI in this game is
pretty smart.
It is.
Oh, actually, at some points it's smart, and then at other points they just walk right into a hole.
Yeah, but that's kind of funny.
They're smart when they're fighting you, but when they're chasing you, they're just...
Yeah,
they're kind of mindless.
Yeah.
But it feels so good when they're mindless.
Oh yeah, it's not bad at all. Another thing to note is the cutscenes. What did you think about that, man?
They look gorgeous.
I mean, to consider that this game runs on a console that was originally released in 2006, it looks fucking amazing. Like, the cutscenes are so good.
The water effects, the particle effects.
Yeah. As in the opening scene, I remember I saw the paddle go into the water, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Am I there?
The ripple. Like, when you see the ripple at the start of a game in a cutscene, you know that it's definitely special. And then you kind of get into the game, and you kind of see where they spent the money. I mean, the in-game engine isn't bad at all, but it's definitely a Final Fantasy kind of look where you see the cutscenes, you're like, oh my god, this game is going to be like so amazing as far as its sharpness.
And then when you're in the game, the cloth is going through your shin. And
yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's definitely the case that the cutscenes in this game are the bee's titties. They are better than the knees. They're perkier. They're really on the ball. I mean, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah, they're tits.
They're cool. They're pretty cool. Anyway, apart from that, I mean, that's pretty much it. I know that the combat handled pretty well. I thought that it was...
Felt good. Felt smooth. The animations are sluggish, so you gotta time really well. But I'm pretty sure there are upgrades where you can make yourself a little less sluggish.
Yeah, there were certain times where we found ourselves stuck in animations.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure leveling up your adaptability where that will increase the time.
I'm really hoping that after a while, after I upgrade my adaptability, I can just randomly, kind of spontaneously turn into different animals. Maybe a were-rabbit, maybe a shark.
Well, I don't think that's a mechanic in the game, but maybe Dark Souls 3.
I'm gonna do that. Yes, I want a shark fighting an armadillo. That's what I want in Dark Souls 3. Namco Bandai. Oh, sorry, Bandai Namco. You better listen. Because I want sharks fighting armadillos in Dark Souls 3.
The way the game goes, the armadillos win.
Indeed. Anyway, this has been Jordan and Liam from BionicViking.com. Hope you've enjoyed this introduction of Dark Souls 2. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.
We're gonna go play more.
Yeah. Playing more.
Pray
Rocking
for
it.
us.